go. Hello and good morning, everybody. Good morning from Discovering Thailand here in Chiang Mai. How are we all? Very good, I hope. That's good. Fantastic, that's good. Thank you. I'll just wait for some more people to join. There's a few coming in. It's a beautiful morning here at 9 a.m. Chiang Mai up here in northern Thailand. A little bit overcast. It looks a little bit like my picture in the background there. 50%, 60% chance of rain today. It's sort of be on and off. Sort of comes across different areas. Some places might get some rain, some areas of the city won't. It's strange how it happens. I've seen the rain go pretty much up to the edge of the river here and then veer off and not come over this condo at all. It's quite strange. Hey, Hobby Time, welcome mate, good to see you. Hope you're well. That's good. A bit quiet, I thought that might happen, so I'll come a little bit closer to my microphone here. And there we go. That's about the best I can get. That should be better. It might have to pump up your volume on your end a little bit. There's a little bit of traffic out there and the sound sort of comes up from the street, and I don't want to get too much background noise. But next time I will actually position my microphone a little bit closer, but we should be good. Hello Scaly Models, hey buddy, how are you? Welcome mate. Very good, good to see you mate. Nice of you to join us too. I was just talking about how good the weather is and how nice my cup of coffee is. Very good. Got some water here as well. Got a few things to chat about today, and if there's anybody has any questions, they're welcome to throw them there into the live chat and I'll do my best to answer. If you're watching a replay of this live stream, then put something down into the comments as well. I'll answer you back as soon as I can. Hello Nishiku, is that it? Did I pronounce that right? Nishikuyu, that's a good name. Welcome, good morning to you too. Thank you. So yeah, I've had an interesting week, a good week. Wasn't planning anything and ended up doing quite a bit. I really went to, as you'll see, there's a video that came out on the channel a short time ago about the beach here. I went to the beach, which was something a bit unique here in Chiang Mai, considering we're surrounded by mountains and jungle and nowhere near the coastline. But there is a beach here, well, sort of a beach. It's barely on the borderline, you can call it a beach. There's sand, there's water. Hey, you know, I mean, there was no surf. It wasn't like Australia. It's not on the coast. I know in Europe they have beaches on lakes. So, you know, as long as there's sand and water. The only disadvantage of this beach I went to is you can't swim. Can't swim there. But hey, there's a bar, there's a restaurant. You can have good meal, good coffee, have a beer. There was cabanas. You can sit out there under the shade in the sand on deck chairs and bean bags. And it was really good. Quite a lot of photo opportunities around the place. So, and only 30 minutes at the most, depending if you leave before the traffic or go on the weekend when there's not much traffic. It's only a short distance. Yes, of course. Yeah, see, you could make sandcastles. Of course you could. In fact, that's something I should have done at the time. I wish I'd thought of that. Build a sandcastle and just left it there. Eh? I wonder if that would confuse people, because, you know, a lot of the locals up here probably never been to the beach with their kids. You know, they wouldn't have that opportunity. Wouldn't know what a sandcastle is. That's something you don't really see on the beaches, even down south. I remember I was in, I met a Canadian in Nepal, and we were doing one of the expeditions and treks, and we were out there and camping out in the tents, and it was snow and ice everywhere. And the Canadian guy, obviously from Canada, knew how to build an igloo. So we built an igloo, and he actually, I didn't do it, I wasn't game enough, but he actually spent the night in the igloo. The local Nepalese were just amazed. They'd never seen anything like it. And the kids and that loved it there. And of course, in one of the Tibetan villages, we put together a big, massive snowman. And again, the kids were like, wow, what's this? You know, amazing. They'd never seen a snowman. So yeah, there we go. Sandcastles on the beach in Chiang Mai. Different. Anyway. I should have put one at the top of the stairs. Yes, obviously you've watched the video and noticed my fear of heights. It's a real debilitating problem. Yeah, it rarely becomes an issue, but there are times when you're in situations where you wish you didn't have that fear, and it's a really strange fear. A fear of heights. It's not the fear of the actual height, I guess. You know, it's more of the fear that your mind is going to do something that you don't want it to do. It's going to tell your feet to walk off the edge and fall. That's what the fear is, you know. It's not the height. Standing up there and looking around is really nice. I like that, you know, but it's the fear that I don't have full control of my mind to tell me don't do something stupid. I've been on the top of skyscrapers in Sydney and in Brisbane, and on the roof of buildings being in security, and I can get that fear standing on the edge of a building, and that's okay. But I can walk back from the edge and I'm fine. I can fly in a plane, no problem at all. I have no fear of that. That's okay. But yeah, I literally physically couldn't have walked up another step. Yeah. It's the fear of falling off. It is. It's the fear of falling off. Yeah. It doesn't matter how high it is, really. I don't think height... I mean, I was 6 steps up. 6 stairs up. I mean, that's like climbing up a ladder. I mean, it's nothing. I could not climb up a ladder now, you know. And I remember exactly when I started getting that fear. And it was, I'm imagining now, God, time flies when you start thinking back, doesn't it? I think it was about 15 years ago when I was in Myanmar, in Burma of all places. And I went to Bagan, the beautiful city of Bagan, which is famous for all its temples. There's like 1,000 temples. You can look out across the landscape and see all the temples. And one of the things you do is you go out to one of these tall temples and you climb up the outside of it to the top to watch either the sun rise in the morning or the sunset in the afternoon. And it's spectacular. It's beautiful. You know, there's people hot air ballooning in the distance. It's just one of the reasons why I really want to go back to Myanmar as soon as possible. But it was on one of those temples that I started climbing up that I couldn't go to the top of. All my backpacking friends I was with went all the way up the top, no problem. And I got stuck halfway and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't go up anymore. It just set on me like that, fear of heights. And I can tell you that going up and trying to face your fear, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. I don't know the cure. Maybe hypnosis might do something. Maybe hypnosis. Anyway, so hey, Sabai in Thai. How are you, buddy? Welcome. I'm doing fine, as always. I really am. I'm enjoying it here. I'm enjoying the slightly cooler weather here. It's cooled down a bit. It's the perfect time to come and visit, I think it is. The high season isn't until a few months away yet. It isn't until about October, November, December. I don't know why that is the high season here in Chiang Mai, because I don't think I've been here at that time, so I don't know what the difference is between now and then. Maybe the rainy season eases off a bit. Maybe Things are more greener, which I don't know how they can't be more greener because it's beautiful out there in the mountainside now. Um, and the best time right now, I think, is because there's no there's no other tourist here. It's quiet. You can go out to all the temples, go to the tourist spots, go up to the lookouts, the monasteries, um, and there's nobody there. There's hardly anyone there. You don't have busloads of tourists showing up. Um, I think this is a really good time to be here, and the weather's fine. It's going to get up to about 33 at top today, but that won't be till late this afternoon. You know, right now it's about 20. I checked, it's about 28 degrees right now. So at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it's good. There's cloud cover, so that keeps the heat down. It's humid. Humidity is very high, and once the sun comes out from behind the cloud, whew, you start sweating. You really do. I was down in the pool yesterday. G'day, White Rabbit. Cheers, mate. Welcome. And in the pool yesterday, I was sitting there chatting to one of the other expats who lives here. He was sitting in the shade. I was in the sun in the pool. And we're talking for about 45 minutes, having a big conversation about our travels and so forth. And it wasn't until I woke up this morning I realised that I got all sunburnt. All the top of my head got sunburnt. So because the sun was, but when it's behind the clouds, it's quite okay. So it's a really nice time to be here this time of the year. The weather is clear. It's good, and they say rainy season. It's not, you know. Maybe it hasn't got bad yet, I don't know, but we get our storms, usually in the afternoon. Rarely does it rain all day. A couple of nights ago it rained quite a bit during the night and into the morning till about 9 o'clock, and then it cleared up. But when it does rain, it just comes down reasonably heavy for about an hour or so, and then it clears up. So what you do is whenever you go out, you just take your raincoat or your poncho or an umbrella, just have that under your bike seat if you're on a bike or wherever. Just keep one, because you know when you come back out of the shopping centre or wherever you are, it might be raining. Or just go back in and have a cappuccino for half an hour or so, and it's likely the rain will clear up and you'll be out again. Model Tank Guy, hey buddy, welcome mate. Good to see you mate. Hope you're all well too. Sabai saying great when it's overcast, the best time to be outdoors. Oh, for sure. I bought myself a long sleeve, it's one of those ones that's made of a material that you don't sweat. Like you'll see a lot of the Thais here, they'll all wear long sleeve, they'll wear hoodies, they'll be completely covered head to toe, and it's hot as under that sun. You know, they'll pull up at traffic lights. If there's shade before the traffic lights, they'll pull under the shade of a tree or somewhere. But they're wearing everything, and I don't know how they don't sweat. So I bought this material stuff. It's really nice, and you put that on, and you can actually feel the wind going through it, but it does protect you from getting sunburnt. And the only thing I do need to buy now is I need to buy gloves. I haven't bought gloves on the motorbike yet, which I'm a bit silly. I bought the helmet, but I should have bought the gloves too, because other than your head hitting the ground, which you need protection, usually the next thing to go down is your hands, because you automatically go to protect and support yourself. If you come off a bike, your hands go down, and I need to get gloves. But also for the fact that the backs of your hands get sunburnt. Hey Ron, hello mate, from Winnipeg in Canada. Welcome mate, glad you could join. Cheers mate, hope the weather's a little bit cloudy there I think today up there in Canada. But yeah, so I need to get some gloves, not just for protection from having a fall of course, which we don't want, but having sunburn. Yeah, all right. Also, I will mention that we had a motorcycle accident out the front here. Considering how busy it can get out here at night time, which is probably most places in Thailand, really, there is a service station directly across the road, or a gas station, depending where you're from. Hello, Jim. Welcome, mate. From China, from Shandong in China. Welcome, matey. Welcome, mate. How's the weather in Shandong? Hey, I would imagine it's quite nice. It should be quite nice up there. Um, yeah, the gas station across the road, bikes are in and out. There's no right way to ride or drive in or out. It's a bit chaos, and the inevitable happened the other. I think it was morning or evening. The other evening, yeah. Uh, I was sitting here on the computer editing some video, and no, I was watching Netflix actually, and I hear this crunch. You know straight away a bike's been hit. You hear, you know, that crush, that plastic sound. That, yeah, not good. Hot as hell. Yeah. um, so I went to the window, went out the balcony. I looked, and there was a young guy standing beside his bike that was on the road. So two bikes had come together, coming out of that station, gas station. There was a woman on the road as well. None of them had helmets. The guy, when I just got to the window, was lying on his back, and there was a woman on the back next to her bike. What happened? The guy got up, but he was limping, so he'd obviously done some harm to his foot. He limped over to the side of the road. People came out and stopped, and the gas station people came across and redirected traffic through the gas station and back onto the road to avoid the accident, which was a good thing. And then within about 3 minutes, a vehicle pulled up with lights on it. He must have been a medic of some sort. He went and got a bag out the back of his car and put on his lights and went down to help the woman on the road. And then while that was going on, people were moving the bike off the road and getting around this woman who was still lying on the road. She was moving, which was good. No helmet though. And then it took about, see, the hospital here is literally, it's two doors away. It's up on the next street, all right, the major hospital. It took 10 minutes for an ambulance to arrive, okay? It's literally 2 minutes away. So I don't know if it took time for somebody to report the accident and ring emergency services, or if that's how long it took them to get ready and get out to here, which is literally turn the corner and you're here. But anyway, they showed up, and the woman was helped down the road. Unfortunately, there was quite a lot of blood. She was trying to stand up earlier on before the paramedics arrived, but people were trying to tell her not to move. I could tell, telling her not to move and stay down there. But when the paramedics put her on the stretcher and moved her onto the bed and into the back of the ambulance, which all happened quite fluidly, she was taken away, and that was it. The police arrived. They were talking to the younger guy on the bike, so I didn't see it happen, so I don't know whose fault it was. But there was quite a bit of blood on the road, so I would say she was not in good condition going by that. But, you know, after about 10 minutes of the patients being taken away, it was everything back to normal, and people were riding past and like it never happened. So, you know, it makes you wonder just how often these things happen. Anyway, model tank guy saying got 25 today. Yeah, getting hotter tomorrow. Going to smoke some ribs. Oh, nice. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I know, talking to a friend in Chicago earlier, his also name is Jim, and he was saying it's cloudy up that way, and but it's 30 degrees is the top temperature for today, so quite warm. So anyway, let's get on to one of the subjects I wanted to talk about, and if you want to jump in on any ideas or any suggestion as we go, I want to just talk about the visa changes that were announced at the end of last month. Okay, so right on the end of, around about the 28th of May, they announced changes that were reported in the media to take in effect from the 1st of June. And that involved 30-day exemption on arrival to become 60 days, changes to the retirement visa if you're applying from overseas, and a couple other things that I went through and talked about in one of my live streams a couple of weeks back when it all happened. The update I want to give on that, and for the latest information that I've been able to research, and I'm not just talking about looking at places like the Bangkok Post and media outlets, but I'm talking about the Department of Immigration, Tourism Board, all these places where there should be information about that's reliable, government sites, and there is none. There is nothing. There is nothing changed since their original announcement, which turned out to not be for the 1st of June. That was taken out of context. The Department of Immigration had a thing at the top of that announcement saying that it was announced at that time, but it wasn't going to be implemented until about now, because now we're at the end of the month, and the latest thing is between the end of June, early beginning of July. Well, today's the end of June, 30th, at least here in Thailand it is. You're still on the 29th in the US. And tomorrow will be the 1st of July. I can assure you that don't think that if you fly into Thailand tomorrow on the 1st of July, you're going to get a 60-day exemption. It's not going to happen, because there's been no further information. And the reason I know it's not is because over in Thailand, when a law is put into place and changed, it needs to be made official. And the way they make the laws official here is it gets published in what they call the Royal Gazette. And the Royal Gazette, it means that it's been actually signed off and been made law by the king himself. Okay? And that goes for everything, all right, including anything to do with visas and all these stuff that all these announcements were about. They all have to be submitted, and they'll be in the Royal Gazette. Now, the disadvantage for us as foreigners, or me at least, is that the Royal Gazette is written in Thai. Okay, so I can't read it. Now, of course, I could find out and get people to read it for me and see if there's any mention in there that can read Thai, but there is nothing there. Okay, so until it is in that Royal Gazette and it's been put there and passed by the king himself, it's not going to happen. There's nothing to enforce. There's no law in place. Okay. Now, even when it does get published into that doesn't mean that it may get enforced straight away. Okay, these things take time to implement. Okay, from my experience of what I've seen, keeping an eye on these things over the last 5 years, particularly knowing I was moving here to live, I try to keep up with all the changes being made, particularly in the way of visas and things that might affect me moving over here. And I've noticed in those 5 or 6 years, sometimes longer, that when things are announced, they may still not even after that get implemented into the system. All right. So my advice to everybody out there is don't go out there and watch all these YouTube channels of people trying to give their thoughts and opinions. I mean, it's fine to give thoughts and opinions on things that are coming and being implemented, but the reality is go through your embassy. Okay, go through your home embassy of your own nationality. That's where you'll get information. Okay, because there was a time where I don't remember what it was, but there was something about the 60-day visa, applying for that in Australia, that I saw on a website where on a YouTube channel somebody announced that you had to. They weren't going to let you convert your 60-day tourist visa into the extended stay visa. All right, the extension of stay visa that you need as part of your application going through for your retirement visa. They were not going to do that in Thailand anymore, and that you had to leave the country and get it done in an embassy and then come back in. Well, it turned out that wasn't true. I contacted my embassy in Sydney and I asked them, and they said, if we don't know about it, it's not happening. Okay, so stay with your embassy and wait until you hear. The moment your embassy says, this is the situation, this is what the case is, then go ahead and do it, you know. There were airlines and travel companies around the world adding to their advertising the 60-day visa waiver to attract tourists to come through their agencies. But there was no 60-day. It doesn't exist. It hasn't been implemented. So could you imagine the number of people that might have gone and go, oh great, and booked through them and show up at the airport and end up with just 30-day stamps, and now their holiday here is for, you know, longer, and they've got everything planned. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can still get an extension on your visa. I think it's 1,900 baht to go to the immigration and get that extended to the 60 days. But 60 days on arrival would cut that out completely. In fact, 60-day visa exemption on arrival would completely cut out any need for a tourist visa to be applied and paid for. We pay $60 in Australia for a tourist visa worth 60 days here, whereas the new one, when and if it comes out, will cost you nothing. So, you know. Kevin there. Hello, Kevin. Things get both lost in translation, exactly, and lost in competing government departments in Thailand. Of course, that's right. So it's best to wait until it actually happens and see what it's like then. Exactly. I mean, and that goes right down to news stories on any article. You know, the translation there is not the best at the best times, is it? Sabai. Good one, mate. Thank you for jumping in and saying hello, and you have a great rest of your Sunday. Good one. So yeah, a lot gets lost in translation. So, you know, I'm sure that's worldwide, everywhere that happens, but particularly here and between governments as well, departments also. So. But it's interesting, like, you know, when I went for my Thai driver's license, it just so happened to me that the woman on duty at the information desk, she spoke as good as English as me, you know, and I might have just got lucky that day that she was on, because when I went in and gave her my paperwork, and she went through it, and she looked at me and she goes, oh, why don't you get your car license while you're here? It'll only cost you another 120 baht. And you've got all the paperwork. All you need is get one more form printed out, and you can do that. And I said, oh, look, I'm not going to drive a car here. I'm not going to own a car. I just need the motorbike license. And she just laughed with me, and she spoke perfectly good English, and she knew exactly what I was about. And she go, okay, well, she said, you can come back anytime. All you need to do is get another TM30. But other than that, you can come back anytime and get your driver's license just the way I did with my car license. And of course, they're valid for 2 years. But then she says to me, oh, but you know what else? You can also, when you come back and renew this license in 2 years, then you can add your car license to it as well. Now, if this was a Thai girl that I was speaking to with a smaller amount of English, she could never have explained all that to me and given me all that information. So the source is very important. The source you go to is very important. And your embassy in your home country is one thing for sure. One other thing I wanted to mention to people too, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't realise this, that travel insurance, this is more for travellers coming to Thailand for a holiday, which is what I recommend you do before you move here to live, is come and test out the waters first before you make that big decision to jump in and move over here. Did you know that, and I'll give you my example, all right? So in Australia, when I went to buy my ticket on Thai Airways, I went to a travel agent. I went to Flight Centre. I've been using Flight Centre for years, and they're fantastic, all right? So they were fantastic. I don't use them anymore because there's a lot of airlines they no longer deal with, and they're more expensive. You can get cheaper tickets just as reliably online. But anyway, I went through them, and one of their things is, of course, they don't make money selling you on tickets. Well, they do make a little bit, but not much. Where they make money is selling you travel insurance. Okay, so they'll do their best to sell you travel insurance. When I was flying over here in August last year for about a 6-week, I think it was 6-week visit, they tried to sell me travel insurance, and the travel insurance itself for just me cost only, like, my air ticket was about 1,200 Australian dollars. They wanted nearly $1,000 just for the travel insurance. I'm like, you're crazy, no way. All right, so I'm going, no. I mean, at the time I thought I could get better insurance online. I've been here so many times, I can, and on a few occasions I have, and usually for about 300 to 350 Australian dollars I can get travel insurance that covers me for everything I need, no problem. But did you know that as of the 1st of January 2024 this year, the Thai government brought in a promotion to boost tourism that means that everybody, whoever, whatever nationality, whatever country you've flown in from, who comes and arrives in Thailand is automatically given travel insurance. Okay? So, and I wrote down a few things here about this travel insurance, okay? So to give you an idea of what you're covered for, okay? This is just, there's no paperwork, there's nothing. You've just got your immigration, you've got your stamp in your passport, you automatically have this travel insurance. The reason I'm talking about it now is because they've extended it. I couldn't find out when they were going to finish the date of it or how long they've extended it for, but they've extended it, and it's available. It's covering everybody coming into the country now. Okay, so death. If you were to, for death cover, okay, your next of kin or however it will work out will get you're covered. Your insurance that they provide covers you to $27,000 insurance. Okay, so that's in US dollars, $27,000 you're covered if you were to die here. Okay, if you were to have, and that works out at 1 million baht. Okay, and actually I think 1 million baht is actually more than that in US dollars, so I may have got that confused. That's probably Australian dollars, 27,000. Anyway, 1 million baht is what you're covered for. All right. Now, permanent disability, if you end up with a permanent disability, it's 300,000 baht you're covered for. Okay. Now, I don't know the details of what degree of permanent disability, but there we go, that's covered. And then medical expenses. Okay, so you have a crash on your motorbike, God forbid, I hope you don't, or you do what I did and kick your toe and dislocate it, or something happens, medical expenses, okay, 500,000 baht. So you're covered for half a million baht in medical expenses. That alone would cover most things. They really would cover most things. Now, I haven't heard of anybody putting this into practice or doing this or using this to make a claim or anything. All right. I do know that I have this little white card that I got when I opened up a bank account, and it was given to me as a medical insurance inclusion with my bank account. And when I went and had my dislocated toe all fixed up in the hospital and all straightened and everything else, and then I went to pay my bill, and it worked out at about 30 Australian dollars, like 1200 baht. Wow. And I'm starting to think maybe that was because I showed that little card. But you don't get that little card or anything. It's just, I guess you just have to possibly show your passport with your stamp in there showing you have your current visa. And what I might do is, there's quite a few people that speak English down at the hospital here. I might call in there and just ask about that, if I can find someone who speaks a bit of English, and find out if they know anything about this government travel insurance cover, because obviously they would know that's where people would be using it. So I'll find out and follow up on that. So there you go. There's a few things. Travel insurance. You can Google that and see if you can find out a bit more. There's not much about it other than it was announced. I do faintly remember something announced about it late last year, and it came into the effect from the beginning of this year. It was just one of the many incentives they had to attract tourists back into country after COVID, which seems to be the thing now. They're realising tourism is so important. There's another thing to do with the taxes as well. A lot of people are concerned about taxes. I don't have anywhere near any experience to even give much of an opinion on that at all. So you're really going to have to speak to someone that's a tax person to work out about these new, not necessarily new, but adjusted law rules that were always there, apparently. They were just never implemented. It's like I'm talking about the visas and finally getting around to implementing it and having it happen. These tax laws, other than a couple of changes they made recently, have always been there for a long time. It's just nobody ever chases it up. And it makes me wonder if anybody will, after the last thing they talked about with it, you know. We'll see. I find it a little bit hard to imagine how they're going to keep track of everybody's tax that's been here for more than 180 days. It will definitely have to be something involved with your renewal of your visa, whether it be a retirement or education or whatever visa, digital nomad visa. Part of that will have to be presenting a certificate of tax to show that you've declared what you're supposed to. We will see, you know, we'll see how that all works. I'll give a small example I know of in my circumstances is, not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, I have an appointment with my Australian tax agent. So in Australia, the end of financial year is now, okay? Everybody goes and does their tax returns and hopefully gets a nice tax return back. Everybody who works in Australia, your employer and you pay your taxes and you get paid, all right? So your employer pays the tax that you're supposed to pay. Okay, that's how it all works. There is on that form when you become employed, and you can make this change whenever you want, there's a little box, the tax threshold. If you tick that box, you will automatically pay the highest tax bracket, okay? No matter what your income is. I did that. I've done that all my working life. I've always paid the highest tax bracket because I find that if you don't get the money go into your bank account, you don't miss it, okay? So the tax man takes it. So what happens is at the end of the financial year now, when I put in a tax return, I claim back all that excess tax I paid throughout the 12 months, all right? So what happens is at the end of every year, my average tax return would be between $8,500 Australian dollars. It was great, you know, and that money that I would receive in July each year would cover my holidays, which is why most of the time I did my big trips overseas in August, September, October each year, using my tax money that I've used as savings. Now, if I was to, I'm doing my tax, so last year I only worked half the year, all right? So and exactly half the year. So from July 1st to January 1st, I worked full time and I earned my full income and I paid my taxes, all right? And I paid my excess taxes as well. So when I speak to my agent on Tuesday and we do my tax return like every other year, she'll put it in. I'm expecting to get back half because I worked half the year, all right? I only earned half, I only paid half the tax. I'll get that back, $4,000 I'm expecting, 3.5 maybe. Possibly more because I earned less, so I may be in a lower tax bracket, so I may have actually paid even more than I should have. We'll see. So what happens is I get my tax return. So let's say it turns out $4,000. That's my tax return for the excess tax I've paid on my income. I put that in my bank account. Okay, no problem. I transfer it into wires, and then from wires I throw it into my Bangkok bank account. Boom. Does that mean I've got to pay tax on that again because I'm a Thai resident if I've been here for more than 180 days? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I'm fairly confident that I've paid my taxes on that money. All the money I've earned in my life, all the money I've been adding to my Bangkok bank account over the last 4 years have been from my income that's already been taxed, okay, at the highest tax bracket in Australia. Now, if the Thai government somehow want me to submit some form for my tax declaration, I'm quite happy to give copies of my group certificates, we call them in Australia, which show how much I earned and how much tax I paid. Okay, I'm happy for as many years they want to go back as they want. I don't think I would have to pay more tax. Maybe there is some talk that if you paid 20% tax, 25% tax in your home country, and the tax bracket here that you have to pay is 30, okay? I don't know how it works in Thailand, how they calculate what amount of tax you pay, but surely you wouldn't be paying the highest tax bracket on a small amount. I don't know. The idea is because of an agreement between the two countries, you would only pay the difference of that 5%. And 5% is pretty low. But still, I wouldn't be too happy about paying any extra tax on income that I've already paid tax on. And money savings that I've brought into the country. We'll see what happens. Kevin's saying, the laws have been there, but they have changed how they interpret the law around taxing money brought into the country. Exactly. But it's never been something that anyone's thought about before or had been concerned about. Of course, if you're a businessman and you're running a business from overseas, you know, and you're Donald Trump and you come in here and you live here, or you know you got money, well then obviously you've got your own accountants and they'll pay tax and that's fine. But for the average retiree expat living here, pretty hard for them to implement, I think. Well, Tenkai is saying I do the same, pay a little more in taxes too. Exactly. I never in my working life, sorry about the ambulance, sounds like it's heading towards the hospital. Never in my life have I ever had a tax bill I had to pay. I've always had refunds come back that I've overpaid. So that's fine. And if you're a resident for tax purposes, that is exactly. You know, I've seen some. It might have been a YouTube channel or somewhere else where someone said, "Oh, well, you've only got, it's only 180 days. So what you do is you just, on 175th day, you just whip over to Cambodia for a week or two holiday and come back, and then you can continue living here and you don't pay tax." Unfortunately, it doesn't work that easy. I mean, if it did, that'd be great for everyone, wouldn't it? But the 180 days is in a 12-month period. Just because you whip out of the country, come back, doesn't mean the count stops. Okay, it continues on. So this is why, speak to someone who understands all these rules and stuff. Steve saying, I think the greater danger for us full-timers is not that we pay a lot in taxes, but in getting caught without the Thai tax ID number. So I think action on our part will be required. Yeah, yeah. That's right. Well, I have no intention of leaving the country in the next 12 months. But if I do, I'm sure if I need to produce an extra piece of paper when I go to get my multiple entry stamp on my visa to leave and come back, do I need to pay extra taxes or something? I don't know. Obviously you can't just show up at the airport with your departure flight and then they turn around and say, well, no, you can't leave because you owe tax. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? We'll see. And then of course the borders, when you cross land borders and you go to Burma or Laos or down through Malaysia, crossing overland, that's a whole different thing compared to flying in and out through airports. So, you know, it'd be interesting to find out how that all pans out. Darren's saying, I believe it's only effective from income earnings from the 1st January 2024, not retrospective. Yes, so I heard that the other day, that any income earned previous to the 1st of January this year is exempt, is not an issue, which is fine in my case because most of my money saving up for the 800,000 I need in the bank for the retirement visa and the excess money I needed to live here for the next 3 years, I already had before that date transferred across. I think after that date, 1st of January, there was, I think when I did fly in here in March, I bought about $5,000 with me. And I was a little bit concerned when I went through the visa agent that I discovered that you needed to show 800,000 in your bank account 2 months before you apply for the retirement visa, which means that I needed to have that 800,000 showing in there. Applying for the visa in the beginning of April, so it would have been March, February. So February I had to have that minimum amount showing in the account. So I think there might have been somewhere along there'll be a transaction where I put in 5,000 Aussie dollars to top it up. But that's it. Any other income that's coming across throughout the year now, in this year, is the few little bits and bits from little coins, monthly bit from YouTube, because that's it. YouTube is my only income, and of course my tax return that I'm going to get, that will come in and go into my account. But look, you know, if I've got to pay 5% on, you know, $4,000 or $5,000, I'm not too concerned about a few hundred baht, really. You know, it's more a case of getting the paperwork together and what government department do I need to go through and sort all this business out, you know. So we will see. Anyway, that's about all I needed to cover. If there's any other questions and suggestions, maybe. I had a good day yesterday morning. I went through Chinatown here in Chiang Mai. Went through the markets up there in Chinatown. I videoed that video will come out next week. Yeah, it was quite good. I got up there. It opens at 9 in the morning, and but I got up there just before 8 o'clock in the morning while they were all setting up all their stalls and getting set up, and had a look through before the crowds came. It didn't get as crowded as I expected. Maybe it's busier at night, I'm not sure. But by the time I left there about 10:30 in the morning on yesterday, it wasn't too busy. But yeah, went through there, had looked at some interesting things had for sale in there, some of the food and all that. So yeah, it's a nice little video if you want to check that out. And that's about it. I haven't got anything else. I will be doing an update if in the new month, next week, something comes out about these visas. I might do some video, but really this whole channel is about me and my experiences and sharing it with you guys. So things like, hey Trip, how are you mate? Welcome. I seen you send me some photos of you camping by the lake. Looks really nice there. Good on you. Out there in Texas. I assume you're still in your home state. That's good. So yeah, unless it like the education visa and the this destination Thailand visa, and these then they don't really refer to my situation of retiring here like I am. But I'll look into it a little bit and probably put in a bit of information. I mostly want to know more about the retirement visa changes for those who are applying from outside the country. There's some changes with the amount of insurance you need to be covered, which is a good thing. And there was something else as well, but we'll see. I'm not expecting, I don't know, I'll put a prediction out there. I'm not expecting anything to happen in July regarding visas. I don't think there'll be any changes at all. You know, a government department might put out some information there. Immigration might throw out something, and YouTube and the media will jump on it and assume things. But I don't think I don't think anything's going to be expected to be any changes soon. Kevin's saying, have you been to the Chiang Mai market, which is a bit further up the river? A bulk fresh food market worth a look. Yes, I have actually, and I'm sure I did a video where I just did a walkthrough of that. One of my videos a couple of months back when I first got here. I just did a walkthrough of that. All the fresh fish and seafood and all the vegetables and stuff. It was very big local market there. Busy. Wow, very busy. But yeah, I'm sure that was the one I went to. It was really good. Yeah, I'm not a big seafood eater, and I'm not a big fresh produce eater either, so it didn't really catch me. Although I went through the meat section there, and there's some beautiful pork spare ribs that were tempting to buy. Wow, you know. But again, I don't know if I'm paying the tourist price or not, because nothing's got prices in those markets. And I don't know if even the locals haggle and deal with that. But I just feel sometimes if I walk in there and buy a spare rib piece like this, and I'm going to pay 400 or 500 baht for it, I keep wondering if the local next to me might get that for like 100, 200 baht. Yeah, we'll see. White Rabbit saying, will Assist Visa help you with tax file info? They probably will. I'm sure they will, yeah. Although I don't know if tax is something they look after, whether you need to actually go to a tax agent separately. I'm sure their website will sort that out, but we'll see. If it comes to my retirement visa is not until renewal is not till May next year. Okay, so I've got plenty of time for things to fall into place, and I'll be well aware of what's happening by then. And if it's an extra piece of paper I need for renewing that visa, and something extra I have to do, then I'll go ahead and do it. I don't plan on using an agent to renew my visa. Since I've been here, I've learnt a lot, and I'm quite confident that I'll be able to do that on my own without a problem. It's just the first time is a lot of extra paperwork, and it's a lot more nerve-wracking, and you're in unfamiliar territory when you're dealing with immigration in a foreign country. You know, I mean, gosh, I was one of those guys that every time I flew into Thailand, I would use the, what do they call it? The VIP service. Okay? I would fly into Thailand using VIP service, mainly because I hated going through immigration. I hated not just the queues, but just the, you know, the blank stares you get and the looks in the passport and how there's no friendliness there, you know. You're amongst hundreds and hundreds of people off a plane coming into the country, you know. It's a nerve-wracking experience, to be honest. So with the VIP service that's run from Bangkok Airport there, you can pay up ahead. I think the price has gone up a little bit, but it used to be about 65 Australian dollars. Well worth it. You jump on the plane here, you come across, there'd be a VIP member, usually a girl. She'll meet you as you get off the plane, literally right there, take your bag, walk with you, and you get down to immigration, and instead of going with everybody, all the rest of the crowd, we chuck a right and we go up where the pilots and airline staff go through into the VIP, goes through that, no queue, straight up to the smiling immigration officer, because he's obviously dealing with a lot less people. So, you know, in my case, when I came the year before last, I came over here twice last year. So in May last year, I come over here. I actually flew in on my birthday, and the officer looked at my passport and gives it a stamp, and he says, "Happy birthday." You know, but yeah, straight through. You're straight through. You're no longer than 2 minutes, and you're down. And then, of course, the VIP concierge would take you straight down to the baggage carousel, collect the bag for you, help you with your SIM card, help you with any cash you needed, and then in my case, walk me down to the mass transit train to show me how to buy a ticket and put me on the right train to head into Bangkok to get to my hotel. And I was literally, from the moment I stepped off the plane to stepped on the train heading into Bangkok, no more than 15 minutes had passed. You know, I think I was on the train leaving the airport while the rest of the passengers on my plane were still in the line at immigration. So, yeah, I've never been one to enjoy immigration. So when it came to moving here, living and permanently on a one-way ticket, I didn't want to deal with all the visa stuff. So I was prepared, I saved up, I budgeted, and I knew that I'm going to pay for and get this all done for me. Don't have to think about it, where I can focus on where I want to live, which condo I want, which estate agent I'm going to go through, getting my shopping, getting settled into my new condo, and all my visa stuff would all be done behind the scenes for me. And it was just worth it in that initial phase of moving in here. Hello, Jack Bree. G'day, welcome to you. Hello from Brisbane, are you? Brisbane in Australia. How's it up in my home city of Brisbane? Hey? I would imagine the weather would be overcast, maybe a bit of rain about. Hey? Brisbane, gosh. I lived in Rochedale, on the south side. Sunnybank, Rochedale, around that area. Worked in Brisbane City for quite a few years. Loved it there. Tony's there. Hello, Tony. How are you, mate? Good morning, Peter. I just got home from breakfast. Okay, yes, good. I told you I'm running the stream an hour later, just so you can get out there and have your breakfast and get back in time to catch the end. There's a bit of rain, is there? Yes, yes. I'm expecting a bit of rain here as well. But oh, you're at Greenbank. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, not far from, where was it? Marsden. Between Marsden and Sunnybank. Greenbank's just a little bit further on. Yeah, nice. Nice. Very good. So, as much as I loved it there, I don't want to move back there. So I'm doing my best to stick it out here and suffer with the heat and the humidity. I'm sitting here right now and I'm already sweating. The sun's getting higher in the sky. I get the sunlight comes into my condo here until about 11 a.m. and then after that it's straight up. Browns Plains, that's it, of course. That's where I used to work there as a security guard for a while for Polar Fresh, a distribution centre for Coles supermarket. I'm sure you know that area. Browns Plains Shopping Centre. Gosh, good on ya. It's 25, is it? Very good. Yeah, so the sun will, after about 11 o'clock, it'll be up above the building. And then an hour later, if I time it right, just before 12 o'clock, if I head down to the swimming pool, the shade will have moved across and it'll be just where my favourite deck chair is by the pool. I'll have the sun there. And then, so I'll go down there, do a few laps. I'm doing laps of the pool now. I'm getting fitter. Those who don't know, you can't see because of this background. I've got my new gaming chair here. Oh, I swear, the moment I sat in here, that sharp pain I was getting in the back of my shoulder blade, gone. My stiff neck, much better. Oh, the support, and so much more comfortable in this chair. And swimming, okay, so I'm up to 8 laps. All right, to be honest, sometimes I'll do 5. Now, I've been told one length and back is 1 lap, okay? One length is only half a lap. I was counting them wrong. But I do 1 length up and 1 length back, that's 1 lap. So 8 times up and back, 8 laps now, really good. And I actually watched a YouTube video because I'm a bit concerned that I'm not breathing properly. For instance, I wasn't breathing out my nose while I'm swimming. So I'd inhale and exhale out my mouth under the water after 3 strokes and then back and do it. I'm not, you know, I'm like learning to swim on YouTube, right? So I found out you breathe out your nose and you continuously breathe out your nose in a continuous amount until you take your next breath. And usually after three laps. So now I've found that is more easy doing it like that. So I'm doing that. Anyway, the swimming's coming along well and that's helping me get a bit fitter. And I'm very tempted to go see the massage girls outside the condo here. They don't have any prices up and I don't want to get a tourist massage. All right, I want something that's going to really help. And you guys out there, you guys in Thailand, tell me, is a massage going to help my stiff neck? Like I really do have a stiff neck, okay? It's a lot better than it was from swimming, but I have a stiff neck. Will a massage be a good thing to help me or is it just a temporary fix? All right, I'm thinking getting a neck and shoulder massage. I just don't want a touristy oil massage. There you go. I want something that's going to work. I want to be able to say to the girl there, right there, see, I can put my finger right on the painful spot right there and go, that hurts right there. I want her to understand that and say, yes, no problem. And then when I walk out of there, oh, hey, no pain, all loose. Is that it? Should I go in there, spend my 200, 300 baht for my hour and and hopefully they do a good massage? Maybe I'll ask a few of the people living around here if they've been there and if they do a good job, you know. So, I mean, I've had massages in Pattaya and Hua Hin, and it's all nice. It is. It's good to have a nice massage. You know, I've had foot massages, although I struggle with that because I have the most ticklish feet in the world. But yeah, do you think I will? Will I? Thai massage is great. Yes. All right. I'll tell you what. I'll go in there today if they're there, and I'll go and ask them. Go to the chiropractor or a philosopher, a philosophy. I know what you mean. Yeah, a physiotherapist. That's the word you mean. Yeah. Yeah, all right, maybe. The hospital have them? Osteopath. Okay. All right. Maybe, you know, maybe. Go to the hospital and ask for a massage, I reckon. Go to a Newsom market at one of the outside massage places. 200 baht an hour. One outside the condo is 300 baht, Steve says. Okay. All right. There's a market. Right. Okay. I'll check that out. I'll check it out. 200 for an hour is much better. You know, I'm not too worried about what I pay as long as I walk out there with a result. You know, because I've literally had this pain in my shoulder since I got here for 3 months now. You know, the chair has helped a lot. Definitely helped a lot. The armrest where I can rest my arm and use the mouse. And I'll be honest with you guys too. I'm a bit of a gamer as well. I like playing these online games a bit. It's nothing for me to sit here for 4 hours, you know, fighting, you know, trolls and running my elf through the mystical landscapes and gaming. And obviously that's given me, the lack of movement in my arm is causing the pain in my shoulder, I'm thinking. Okay. Hello. Yeah, trip on site. What's this trip? I'm done eating, Peter. Good. Had pork chops. Wow, nice. Corn, sausage and peaches. Probably would be 6 baht in Thailand. A little bit more, but yes. I had some beautiful... Last night I went down to my regular little cafe on the roadside down here. He did me this pork on rice. So it's like pulled roast or pulled stewed pork over a bed of rice with a couple of eggs. And it's a big meal. It's a real good big meal, you know. It's 50 baht. 50 baht. It's like $2. Less if you're American. Really nice. And then of course, I can't help walk past 7-Eleven and go to the fridge in there and pick out an ice cream for less than $1, like a Magnum or something like that, you know. Yeah. So, what else we got here? That's it. Sorry about the spelling. Yeah, that's okay. Model Tank Guy saying, when I worked in the mines, I got a massage up there. Helped me to sleep good at night. Much for relaxing. See, that's another thing, is my bed. It's not the softest bed, and for anybody coming to Thailand, be prepared. The beds can be like bricks. They have these covers you can get over the top, comforters. You got to have them, all right? Now, a solid bed is good for your back, but not the most comfortable, all right? So this bed is okay. It's not as soft as my Sealy Posturepedic mattress back home in Australia was, which you just sink into. But I sleep okay when I sleep, all right? I wake up early, but I do sleep well when I sleep. That's not a problem. And I don't wake up with a stiff neck or anything like that. It's being here at the computer, gaming or editing my videos, or over on my other desk building my models, which is a whole different subject. But it's what I do, you know. Maybe I should take up drinking and start getting this exercise happening more with the beer, yeah? I think that might help. But, okay, I'm tempted to go out there and check today. I know it's Sunday, but I'm sure they're still around. There's at least half, between here and the market down the road, there's at least half a dozen massage places here. No bars though. There's no bars around here though. Not that I've found. I think there might be one local one in one of the back streets, but other than that, there's no bars around. What else we got? Is subsection of night market and I can't pronounce that. Okay, on Chiang Mai. Okay, many good restaurants there as well. Okay, good. I'll go check up there. I will. And it's good restaurants. Okay, that's nice. You know, I've been living on the street food out front here. Like, there's quite a variety. I got no problem. But every now and then, I'll break into my freezer and pull out a frozen lasagna or spaghetti that I've bought in the supermarket for a change. But what I'm starting to do now is thinking, once a fortnight, I'm going to go to a half decent restaurant where I can sit in aircon and order something a little bit nicer, you know. Yeah. Peter, can you display the camping photos I sent you? No, only on my phone. I could hold them up, but I don't know if it'll let me. Yeah, see the background sort of, it's not going to let me, is it? It's going to be a problem, but let me see if we can. There's a view out the tent. You can just see that there. There we go. Looking out the tent. He says he's not glamping, but I think it's glamping. I do think it's glamping. There's another nice view there. We just brighten this picture up a bit more so we can see it. There we go. Look at that. See? I mean, come on, did you unpack and put that tent up? I don't think so. I think those tents were already there. Hey? And did you cook that meal you're talking about? What, the pork chops, corn, sausages and peaches? Like, was that cooked on the fireplace out front? I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. Let me have a look at this picture. I don't know. It looks fairly remote there, doesn't it? Can we see that? There we go. There we go. Anyway, there you go. I showed you photos. I've seen some places that sell tents here and some camping stuff, and I used to do that on my motorbike in Australia. I used to jump on and go out and go camping, and I'd love to do that here too. Jump on the bike, head up north, up into Pai and places, and there are camping places to go to, and I don't know how much they cost, but yeah, it'd be nice to go camping. So what else we got? Any way to do that? No. Buy a rice cooker. I have a rice cooker here. Yeah, I've used it once. I did actually use it once. I made a little bit of a mistake, so I put 1 cup of rice and 1 cup of water. Spoke to my sister later, and she said, "Oh no, you need to put 1.5 cups because it dries out." And she was right. I had a few crunchy bits of rice in my rice. Yeah, rice in my rice was crunchy. So 1.5 cups. So I do have a rice cooker. I can do my own rice, and I'm motivated now. So tonight I might. There's this woman down the road on a street stall that sells these beautiful pork spare ribs, like really nice meaty ones. So I might go buy 1 or 2 of those, bring it back, and then I'll get the rice cooker out. I'll go 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water, throw that on, and you'll be right. 1.5, yeah. So all good. 100% campfire, really? Okay, well, there you go. I'm impressed. Yeah. I'd like to go camping. I tell you what, though. Did I show you guys this last week? I don't remember. Let me check. I got a photo in here I want to show you. Something that puts me off camping. Now, I say in Australia I went camping quite a lot and I loved it. But, you know, and Australia has its fair share of dangerous animals around, you know, in the way of spiders and stuff like that, you know. But, so the other day, I'm sure I did show this, but maybe you guys weren't on to see it. Where is it? God, I've taken a lot of photos since I was looking at this particular picture. Here it is. Okay. So this one is, there we go. You can see that? There he is. Look at that. So it turns out that that was a python. It was about as long as me, so about 1.5 meters long. And it was just at the back here where I go for walks in the morning, which I don't do quite so much now because of that. Before 5 a.m, and yes, I get up early, so at about 4:20 actually, I would go out, walk out of here, turn left, walk and follow the river up. It is pitch black. There's no light at all. Walk all the way up as far as, there's a big open area up there before you reach the other houses on the river. Then I'll turn around, walk all the way back, past here, down to the hospital, come back on the road and go to 7-Eleven. All right, and then at 7-Eleven I'll buy some bread if I need it for my breakfast, or a drink, and I'll come back. And as I come back, it's usually about 5 a.m. Actually, at 5:05, two big spotlights come on, and they light up the whole front of that river. So, but while you're walking there in the dark in the beginning, yeah, I nearly stepped on that snake. I literally nearly stepped on it. It was just I saw a glint off its shiny back, off its scales, that I stopped and I thought, what's that? And I looked and I grabbed my phone and I put my phone to look and realized it was a snake. It's the second one I've seen. The next one, the one I saw earlier, was down on the other side of the bridge where I used to walk along past from the other side of the hospital. And there's a few abandoned buildings along there. You can walk all the way along the river and then down this little dirt laneway that brings you down into a back street. Again, it's pitch black down there as well. Now, because of the rainy season and all the extra rain we've had, it's all overgrown now. And I went down there and I walked down, and again I saw this black, looked like a piece of wood. Of course it was in a different shape though, so I've stopped and I took a photo, and I took a photo of that one, and that one turned out to be a Burmese viper. Okay, I showed the security guard downstairs. He goes, oh no, bad. So I did a Google search of the photo. It turns out it was a Burmese viper. Deadly snake. Fortunately, the hospital is literally, 50 meters away. Now, I would have had to immobilize the limb and hop to the hospital. Not impossible, but yeah, a Burmese viper, not good. So that part of the walk I do not do anymore. I'm not walking down there anymore. Until they go down there, some of the government workers, and clean that pathway of all the overgrowth, I'm not. And the rainy season's also bringing these snakes out as well. So I don't walk down there anymore. But the pythons, they're harmless, as in they're not poisonous. But I have heard they get pretty big, right? And they've been known to eat small animals. And I don't want to go accidentally stepping on one in the dark, because it's just, what's it going to do? It's going to curl up and straight up around my leg. So I still do walk out there occasionally in the mornings, and I just be more attentive and make my eyes adjust to the dark and that. But what I've noticed too is in the last few weeks, the local workers, local province, I don't know what they call them, they've been digging holes, these big deep holes, and then last week they put these big steel braces in these holes and filled them with cement. Okay, so I went and I took a photo of this, and I asked the security guard, what are they doing? Because there's about 5, I think, spots along the river from the hotel, from the guest house here, the condo, guest house, condo, hotel, from my condo up, there's about 5 of these, and it turns out they're putting lighting in. Okay, so they're putting in big lighting there, so that'll make it safer. I can walk along there in the light, and I'm sure that there won't be snakes, or if there is, I'll see them before I step on them. So there you go. Moltenko, and what else can eat you or bite? Yeah, see, so what I was getting to was camping here. That sort of puts me off camping here, knowing that we got things like vipers, and there was some other snake too that sounded pretty bad. I don't know what it was. It was also a deadly snake. And we're up near we're only a couple of 100 k's from the Burmese border. That seems to be where they're all coming from. And it's the rainy season bringing them all out. So I suppose it's okay. If I get myself a tent and zip myself in, I'll be okay. I wouldn't like to be just in one of those bivouacs, they call it, where it's like a sleeping bag that you sleep outdoors in. I wouldn't be sleeping on the bare ground outdoors at night. No chance. You know, I've even seen some pretty big ants that I wouldn't want biting me either here. So anyway, so we'll see. A few things I'd like to do. What else we got? Don't say no big spiders, I hope. Look, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's spiders here too, but look, being from Australia, I can tell you, you know, most of the time, most of my life has been in the metropolitan cities, all right? But even then, I've been in countries, I've been in other areas. In my whole life, I've probably only ever seen about 3 or 4 snakes, you know, and 2 of them were dead anyway, all right? And spiders, you don't see spiders. You see, what are they called? Huntsman spiders. They're probably the biggest, scariest ones. They're about the size of your hand almost, full-grown adults. Big, brown, furry, you know. They love sitting on the wall, on the roof above your bed in the bedroom, you know. But again, they don't bite you. They're harmless. They're just scary. I have no problems. I'm not afraid of spiders or snakes. They're not, you know. For instance, that python, if I could be certain that it wasn't poisonous, and hey, if you see a snake, treat it like it's poisonous, no matter how much experience you think you have. Don't go up there and get too close, all right? But it's not like, oh Jesus, and I run away. No, if I see a snake, if I could be 100% certain, I'd have no problem going over and picking it up or moving it or something, but that's just silly. You don't have to, so don't do that. But snakes don't bother me. Spiders don't bother me either. I'll walk up and I can pick up those spiders and, you know, and carry it outside and put it outside. It's no problem. That's all right. Cockroaches are a different story. Cockroaches, can't stand them. Unfortunately here, very rare. I've never seen one in the condo or anywhere in the condo here. I've seen a couple out in the street, but very rarely, and they're usually fairly big cockroaches. I can't stand cockroaches. I can't, to the point where I can't even step on a cockroach. That's how bad it is. You know, put me in a glass case and fill it up, cover me with snakes, not a problem. Put one cockroach in there, no, I can't. I'm out. It's the same fear of being afraid of heights with me with cockroaches. I get that same tenseness comes over me as being afraid of heights when I come across a cockroach. All right, so there you go. What are you saying? I can fight bear, but not a spiders. Now there you go. See? So, you know, it's all good. It's all good. Anyway, I'm going to finish it up here. I've been going for an hour and a half almost. I want to thank everybody for joining in the live stream, and anybody who's watching this as a replay. Obviously, I am monetized. I earn income from advertising on my videos. I do not have videos on while we're streaming live. I don't agree with the interruption that causes. But I will put them in the replay. So if you come back, but then of course you've got the option to skip as well. I mean, I'd love you to go and make a cup of coffee or go take a leak while an ad plays, because that's good for me. So, you know, that's great. But yeah, only in replays will you see advertising, not in live streams. And thank you everybody. And if you're watching this for the first time and you haven't said hello in the chat, do so next time. I'll be back on the same time next week. Maybe we'll do one from outside. We might go down the river and I'll show you where the snake was, and I'll show you these holes where they're putting in the lights. How would you like that? I think we can do that. We'll do that. All right. We'll go have a look at the river and see what it looks like now that the weather's really nice. Okay, so about the same time next week. All right, guys. Thank you all. And again, in the comments below, if you've got any questions about the health insurance that the government's offered, Anything I can help out with or direct you to someone who can, I will, all right? But if you need advice when it comes to those things, visas and stuff, stick with your embassy. Your embassy is the place where when they know that they've got the accurate details. All right, guys. Thanks, everybody, and have a good one. It's time for me to go down. I might get my breakfast downstairs and go down to the pool.